Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Let's Talk About It 803. Guys, I have a special guest today. We have Coach Fee in the building. Coach Fee, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I can't say that. I'm blessed. And
Good.
yourself?
I'm good. I can't complain. My favorite saying is life be lifing, and everybody know that's my thing. Life be lifing. But I'm here, so I won't complain. You understand?
Yes.
I had to contact you. I had to ask you to share your story with everyone. You've been through it. And I know we all go through it, but you have a story to tell. So do you want to fill everybody on in who's Coach Fee? Who's Coach Fee?
Yes. So just like you're saying, life does be life. And Coach Fee is a woman that been through the storm, that
Mm,
endured the storm. And every storm that I went through, I was able to overcome it through my faith.
yes.
It all started with, of course, being a cancer survivor. Um, I went through cancer at an early age. I was 36 years old when I was first diagnosed with third grade uterine cancer.
Mm,
I was first misdiagnosed as just having fibroid.
right.
So when they actually found that it was cancer, I was in my later stage.
Wow.
It was one of those things where I thought I was sentenced my death sentence, if
Right.
that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I had two young boys at the time. Zion probably was like 7 or 8 years old. Micah was 3, 4, just getting ready to start school.
Right.
And I was in a place in my life where I thought things were smooth sailing,
Yes.
um, especially after overcoming a relationship that was domestic violence, full of domestic violence. Um, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I didn't know how to continue life,
Mm,
especially with my grandmother succumbing to lung cancer. I watched her go through that, and then here I am at 36 years old. Like, Lord, is this is it for me? I didn't really
right.
even get to live life. You
Right.
know, I got
Right.
two young boys who, nobody is going to raise your children the way that you will, as a mother will,
Absolutely. You're right.
regardless of who you assign them to, or,
Right.
want to leave in their care. Nobody is. Um, but then, I started relying heavy on faith. I'm a true believer that prayer changes things. I'm a
Mm,
true believer that God, He stands on the promises that He gave us in the beginning. You know, so once I had that strength, I found my strength again in my faith. I was able to muster up that strength
mm,
and fight through the
right.
cancer, through the surgeries. I had more than one surgery, because at the time the cancer was so aggressive and progressing. I ended up having to go back and have my lower lymph nodes removed.
Oh,
Till this day, um, the feelings in my upper thighs. You know how you go to the dentist and it feels like when your mouth is starting to become unnumb,
right.
and
Right.
you can feel a little bit, but it's like a
Mhm.
little tingling feeling.
Right. Yes.
Until this day, I still have that. That's the effect on my upper thigh.
Wow.
So there are effects that, lifelong effects. It's going to be mental and it's physical effects from going through such a disease such as
Mm,
cancer. Um, that was one storm that I weathered through. It was just through the grace of God that I was able to overcome that. And just a little story back before that, as I stated, I'm a domestic violence survivor.
uh-huh.
Going through that situation, I was always the one, I'm not about to be in a relationship and let no man beat on me.
Right. That's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
And that's all you hear,
Right.
people, and then you have the backlash from people, you're stupid. How can you go through something and let somebody beat on you like that?
Yeah.
But the thing about it, you don't understand that when you're in a relationship like that, before it even gets to the physical aspect of the
Hmm.
domestic violence,
Yes.
they get you mentally. And
Yes.
manipulation, they get you to a place where
Yes.
you feel like you don't have anybody around. You don't
Absolutely.
have anybody to run to.
That's it.
You're all they got. They seclude you from your family.
Right.
They seclude you from your friends. And
Right.
then they take control of your mind. And
They,
that's what happened in that
yes.
situation.
Right.
So it took me being able to become self-aware of who I was again. Because when you're in a relationship, especially with someone, a narcissist,
Hmm.
like that, you lose your sense of who you are.
That's right.
And just learning who I was again, gaining my self-identity
Hmm.
again, I was able to leave that relationship. And what it all boils down to in both of those situations that I went through in life, it was always me running back to God.
Right.
God, He never leaves us. It's us that leaves Him.
That's
And
it.
once we realize and take a look at all of the things that He did bring us through,
Yes. Yes.
we're able to return back to the source, our
Yeah.
first love, the
That's it.
one that was always there for us. Because
Right.
man, they're going to forever, they're always going to let us down.
Absolutely.
But God, He never lets us down. It's us that walks away from Him.
That's it. That's it. So I wanted to ask a question.
Hmm.
What inspired you to become a life coach?
Oh man, I think just realizing that every test that I went through, I had a testimony. And when you know God's word, the evidence of His work is the things that you overcome. And when you want to empower somebody and you see somebody, whether you know them
Hmm.
or you don't know them, and
Right.
you know what it's like to go through that, why not be that light that they can't see because
Right.
of the things that they're right in the midst of. But once you overcome something, you can be that blueprint to help guide them through it.
Right.
Especially as us as women, through history, we have always been the last, to be um, considered of or protected or just empowered to overcome things.
Right.
Just witnessing my grandmother and some of the things that she went through in her early life, as a child growing up. When she was married, it was always the man, she had to take care of him and
Right.
things like that.
Right.
But, you know, time is always evolving um, the way that people are perceived in life. And
Hmm.
being a woman, you need that empowerment. So when God finally laid it in my heart, everything that you went through, your pain was without purpose. It was
Right.
not without purpose.
That's it.
So once that started resonating with everything that I started writing down, God, I went through this, I went through that,
Hmm.
but I'm not the only one that went through it.
No.
And you see people succumb to things that they go through, but if they just had that certain somebody,
That's it.
regardless if it was
Yep.
just a whisper in their ear,
Yes.
or if it was just just seeing something or hearing, that could have been the missing key that
Right.
kept them from succumbing to that situation.
Right. Woo. So through all this and everything you've been through, how do you stay connected to God on a daily basis?
Oh my goodness, it's that personal relationship.
Yes.
I find that a lot of people, they gravitate towards religion.
Hmm.
Religion is man-made. But
Right.
when you have that personal connection to God and
Yeah.
you're able to connect to Him and pray to Him yourself, You're
Right.
able to hear from him yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think that the only way that I hear from God was just him having to speak to me. And I used to be like, I don't hear from God. And
Right.
I would hear people all the time talking about, well, God, he'll let you know.
Right.
How? I don't hear from him. But it's not always a voice. A lot of time it is, but you have to be in a still place
Yes. Mm-hmm.
in order to hear from him.
Yes.
But God speaks to us in many forms. And
Yes.
it's just like I was watching one of your episodes and I can't remember the lady name, and she was telling her story or whatever. And it was on how do you step out and things like that. And it was just like you just gotta do it. And
Mm-hmm.
that was just like confirmation.
Yeah.
That was confirmation. So you
Right.
get confirmation a lot of
Oh, yeah.
ways through what God's speaking to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How do you help your clients understand faith, trust, and perseverance?
How do I help my clients understand that it's of course faith. It's just something that got to be something that is internal.
Yes.
You have to be at a place where you're willing to
Absolutely.
accept. You
Mm-hmm.
have to find that faith through your own. It's your own journey, just like your relationship. But perseverance, if you want to see results, if you want to overcome something, again, it's all going to fall back on faith. It's just like the vision. You got to be able to see something. And if you're able to see it, that's the evidence there that it can come to fruition, but you got
Right.
to have that faith.
Got to.
So vision, and that's one of my main things that I tell people is that the only limitation that we have is the ones that we set on ourselves.
Absolutely.
So if you see it, write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you have to practice or find ways to bring you closer to that. It
Yes.
you don't have to start, all right, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a CEO of a business. All right, well, there are steps to that. When we where we set ourselves up at is setting these unrealistic expectation on ourselves, thinking that if we, all right, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to start my own business. Okay, I just came up with that idea today. I want to start my own business. Next week, I go in and I register with the state. I get my LLC, and then thinking that, all right, well, in 30 days, I'm gonna have a successful business generating figures. Well, that's an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
You got steps that you got to take in
That's
between
right.
having that vision and
Mm-hmm.
then getting to the place of being a successful business owner.
Yes.
So my thing is go ahead and write out small goals that's gonna generate those six figures. What is that? Writing out your plan. What you're gonna do first? You gotta market. After
That's
that,
it.
once you start marketing, then you gotta what's the next thing that you're gonna do? Once you start to seeing those small things be accomplished, then you know that you're on the right road. But it takes time. Everything takes time. And
Everything.
that's
Yes.
you gotta remember that. You can't just expect to go from here to there.
That's right. That's it. So I want to jump back into your title,
Mhm.
your brand. She wins. How did you come
Yeah.
up with that? Life
Oh my
coach.
goodness. Again, it was just me realizing who I was, being self-aware again. So, She Wins is actually an acronym for what I personally had to look in the mirror and realize, and that was she has everything naturally inside shining. So I once I was able to really just look in the mirror at myself, because we can look at ourselves all the time,
Oh yeah.
but I wasn't able to really look at myself. It was because I was ashamed, or I was still see hurt when I would look past the superficial.
Right.
So
Right.
once I was able to really look past all of the masking that I was doing, makeup couldn't hide it, wearing wigs couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
All of those things, it could not. stopped me from looking at what was really holding me back, because what was in me was enough, and I didn't realize that
Right.
because everything that I went through, I was constantly running to something else just to not feel that again.
Right. Right. Wow. Such a powerful story. You're just such a beautiful person. Now I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Yep, you're fine.
Describe 3 things about yourself. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? Let me just say that.
Mm. You know, there was a time I wouldn't have been able to ask, as I would stumble and think about what other people would say about
Right.
me.
Mm-mm.
But right now, in this moment, 3 things that describe me is resilience,
Mm.
strength,
Yes.
overcomer.
Mm, mm, mm. I love it. If there is a message that you can give to others out here as far as domestic violence or, going through cancer, what's a uplifting message that you can send them?
Mm, it won't last.
Mm.
It won't last.
Yeah.
When you're going through something, especially a situation like domestic violence, let's start with domestic violence. When you're going through domestic violence, you can't take on what the naysayers or what the person that is the abuser is saying. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to look into that mirror, and once you really have enough, because that's the key point, you have to be at a place where you have had enough.
Absolutely.
Because when you are um, trying to get away or you leave because this person tell you you need to leave, what's the one thing that you see people do that they're going through domestic violence? They end up going back.
They go back.
It's because they left because of what somebody else was telling them
Right.
or made them do. So you have to be able to look at yourself and realize that enough is enough and that you are worthy, that you are more than enough.
Yes.
This person didn't make you, so they don't have the right to break you.
That's right. Yes.
Cancer, of course, that's something that we can't control.
Right.
It's a beast that attacks the most powerful.
Mm.
But when you're going through that, you got to be able to fight, because even though this thing has attacked your body, it can take you out faster than what doctors and anybody else can say, because
Yes.
you have chosen to lay down and just not fight, give
Right.
up. But you can't have that. Don't look at the present circumstance, because one of the scriptures that I relied on was Jeremiah 29:11. For I
Yes.
know the plans that I have for you, plans to
Yes.
prosper you and not to harm you.
Yes.
So even in the midst of going through that, I had to rely on what God said. He said
Yes.
God doesn't hurt us. Sometimes he allow things to come in our life. He
Mm-hmm.
allow us to go through things, but it's only to build our faith. It's
Yes.
only to make us stronger. It's only to prepare us for what he had planned for us. He knew us before we were even formed in our mother's womb. So he already know what it's going to be.
That's right.
Now it's time for us to act on it. It's
Yes.
time for us to activate the words that he has already given us. The Bible, what the Bible is full of principles. It's full of, it's like a roadmap.
Yes.
It was written to guide us.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Absolutely.
you stand on it, and if you really read in there, we can't be relying on what the preacher said last Sunday.
Right.
You can't, because you can't
Yeah.
go through life just relying on what somebody tell us, because you're
Absolutely.
gonna have some debaters out there.
Yes.
But when you have taken inventory yourself,
That's right.
what God promised us, what you read in there, and you ask God to give you that understanding, then you're able to go through and stand on it. And
Right.
then what you have to do, you have to put it back in God's face. For God, you said that you was not going to leave me. I don't feel you. I don't see you.
Talk to him.
And I said that many a time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you know what I was reminded of? The footprints.
Mm.
The footprints.
Yes.
So again, when God speaks to us, it's not always going to be words. He's going
That's
to
right.
bring things to our remembrance that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
confirmation that I said this and I mean
Ooh, Coach V.
it.
You're giving me all kind of goosebumps over here. trying trying to maintain myself. This is so good. I love that you shared your story with me, the world, everybody. Thank you for even everybody who's watching the show. I want to ask you to let the people know how they can find. How can they reach out to you?
Yes, so I have now started a page on Instagram um, for SheWins. My website is actually under reconstruction, so hopefully they will be done with that in the next week or two.
Okay.
When I first started it, it didn't have the functions that I would want it for people to be able to schedule and things like that. So that is actually under reconstruction. But you can also email me. I have two different emails for I am She Wins at gmail.com or She Wins Life Coaching at Outlook.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 43 of Let's Talk About It 803. Miss Felisha Fullard, thank you so
Thank
much. Beautiful.
you.
I really appreciate you so much and continue to, stay strong, continue to keep your faith in God always. I've known you for a long time, and I didn't even know half of what was going on. So we have to learn to reach out more and stay connected. I love you. Thank you for coming to the show. Guys, stay connected with us. Guys, please stay connected with us and follow Coach Fee on Instagram. And you on Facebook as well?
I am on Facebook as well, up under my government name.
Okay, so you can go follow her on Facebook as well. Guys, stay tuned. Let's talk about it.